Now we shall know something more about the Purusharthas, the thing which we were discussing earlier. Dharma, Artha and Kama, the global compromise, the supply and the demand. These are the three things. Dharma, Artha and Kama. Verifying our experience, we got this insight. Now we shall go to moksha. Well, we have Dharma, Artha and Kama. It is in our experience. Demand is Kama and supply is Artha, and we need a way of restoring these two without derailment, and that is Dharma. So we have our things of enjoyment or pleasure, and we have our desires which invoke enjoyment, and we do need a system which is dependable for the equal distribution of all these resources, and that is Dharma. With these three, we are satisfied. Why we need the fourth one? This question may arise. And that's why in our tradition, Dharma, Artha and Kama, these three are enshrined and named as one Trivarga. The last one, the fourth one, the moksha, is termed as Apavarga. Apavarga means the separate one, the separate system by itself. Why this distinction has been made? We have accommodated, we means the Sanatana Dharma, the Indian culture has accommodated both the believers and non-believers. Believers means people who belong to a religion, people who belong to a system of worship, believing a God, believing a saint or a prophet, believing a holy book, or believing some tenets, believing miracles, believing heaven, hell and whatnot. So whether a believer or non-believer, both have to adopt and accept the Trivarga. But a non-believer need not go for moksha. But a believer essentially needs moksha. That's how generally it is said. Moksha means liberation. The literal meaning is liberation. What is liberation? Liberation from the cycle of these things. Demand, supply and compromise. How long I shall demand things and how long I go on with compromise? I am fed up with that, so I have to come out of this vicious circle. Like that, if a person thinks, if he thinks that he is too fatigued, then he can stay away from that. He is not in the game. He becomes a mere spectator. This is the nature of moksha in some systems of philosophy. And in the other interpretation we have, moksha means coming out of this and reaching the loved God or the God of his devotion, whether it's Vishnu or Shiva or Devi or whosoever. To this frame we can as well bring in Islam, Christianity and whatever. Any believer in any religion can have his God, can have his concept of heaven or hell, and so it goes on. But in the real context of Indian culture, moksha is something else. It is not just reaching the abode of God. There also we have some other world. There also we have the body, mind. It may be another level. It may be a higher level. It may be another dimension. But the problems will also be there. Everywhere we have problem as long as we have the mind. Mind is the seat of all problems. And that's why the real concept of moksha, as per the Sanatana Dharma, the true Indian culture is going beyond the mind. Not running away from this world, not going to any other world. It is here and now we have to get liberated from the clutches of the dichotomy of mind. The very nature of mind is duality. It always proposes and disposes. Sankalpa vikalpatmakam manaha and nischayatmika buddhi. But the intellect is decisive in nature. One has to rise beyond that. How? We know whenever we are in deep enjoyment, we forget the very mind itself. We know from the art experience itself, even when we watch the beauties of nature, we forget our own selves. Just look at our language, how we express this effect, how we express the feeling and how we explain the experience of it. मैं तो सब कुछ भूल गया, मेरा मन हार गया, मनोहरा, चेतोहरा, चित्तापहारी, मई मरेवु, నేను మరచిపోయాను, நான் மறந்து விட்டேன். Like that in any Indian language and even in the foreign language, we have such terms. It means when we forget our mind, then only we have the real happiness. Mind is the seat of duality. And duality of what? Cause and effect. And it is the product of space and time. When we forget space and time, then only we have the real joy. So the duality is the seat of all problems, and that is the mind. So transcending the mind is the moksha in its truest sense. It happens naturally without any effort in sound sleep. In sushupti it happens, and that's why only when we wake up we realize how long we slept. In the process of sleeping, we would never know where we were sleeping. In a moving coach, a railway coach, or in a night bus journey, we never knew where we are moving. Before sleep, we knew we are going from this place to that place, we are departing, and we knew from our wristwatches what is the time. But when we are sound sleep, we don't know where we were and what was the time. So the forgetfulness of space and time happens in sound sleep without our effort. In nature observation and in art experience, by cultured accommodation, and we can as well say it's a cultivated feeling, it happens. And in all these cases, we transcend the mind. Apart from that, this experience is verily blissful and available. If not, none would have slept, none would have enjoyed art experience, none would have gone for nature and outing. It means this transcendental experience beyond space and time, though temporary, though it is for a moment, it happens in our daily life, and that is the glimpse of the real bliss of moksha, real enjoyment of moksha, real liberation. Should we not attempt for it in its complete phase? Should we not experience that? Should we not anticipate? Should we not venture for it in its fullest dimension, fullest capability, fullest capacity? That should happen means one and all should work for it. That is sadhana. In that sense, transcending the mind is the real nature of moksha and going beyond the duality of the world. We shall discuss, understand these features in greater detail later.